Paige, you've been in my trainings. You know that it's not always easy. You know, complacency doesn't have a smell, doesn't have footsteps, but it's always present. You know, so you must get out of your boat if you want a miracle. You know.
Did Coachy have a whiskey after the game? That is one of the...
Paige, yes.
Thank you.
Let's call us this way.
Yes. Ruckers, it's that time of the week again. Let's settle down. Let's find our comfortable space and our happy space. It is the time for your #1 rugby podcast. It is Behind the Ruck time, and we are proudly supported by SuperSportBet. Like, share, subscribe, do your thing, and let's get comfortable with me, your one and only. I'm Rudy Page, your co-host. Next to me, I've got the one, the only, the big guy.
JDJ in the house. What's popping, boy? Hey, very aggressive, hey? You good?
Partner, this is rugby is honestly at the pinnacle in South Africa. Today's episode, it looks like I'm on record and I'm playing the whole time because I keep on saying today's gonna be the best one. But Ruckers, surely you guys are going to make sure that this one goes to the ends of the earth. We're going to share this one.
They do the thing, and do the best thing at the end of the day.
Ruckers, I'm going to talk on behalf of my partner.
Yes,
I'm going to say that it's going really well with him. I had the privilege, Ruckers, this Saturday to go to one of his games where his team, the Boland Under-21s, made sure they secured their spot into the Under-21 final. Yo, I sound like you blatant there.
Yeah. Exciting times. Now I'm proud of the boys. Obviously, it's been an incredible season so far. A lot of hard work came into the season for the past couple of weeks, and just excited for the boys. Brave effort this past couple of weeks to be in the final, and I'm excited. Exciting times.
Partner, am I wrong when I say, and I don't want to make this sound I don't want this to sound ugly or rude, but you know, when you play for the Lions, the Bulls, Western Province, it is expected that you play in finals. Does it mean extra special for your Boland team to compete in a final, for those boys to get a fair opportunity?
A fair opportunity, and just a taste of what the final is all about, because obviously the youngsters, the Under-21 Boland team hasn't been in playoffs times actually for the past couple of years. So it's just super awesome to see how the boys has taken everything onto board, and it's a lot of challenges when it comes to Boland, you know, getting to the practice and all the stuff when it comes to the region of the Boland. But it's exciting times for myself, for the management, for the players as well, getting this opportunity. And so we're playing a big game against Griffins this weekend. I'm super excited to see how they go.
The Purple People Eaters.
And I know a couple of those boys, but we're not going to go in there.
Okay. And Ruckers, where's the game partner? Sorry, the final.
Yes, they're still going to find us, but it's at home. Okay,
it's at home.
Back home,
Okay, cool. Okay, Ruckers, there is some exciting players. I had the privilege to be at the game. Honestly, our talent in South Africa, the future of the Boland franchise is in fantastic hands, and I want to wish them nothing but the best, because I know those boys are Ruckers, okay? So all the best, Boland Under-21 team. I'll be rooting for you, and I'll make sure that all the Ruckers root for you guys this week, okay? So sterkte met die final partner.
Inkosi. Ja. Is it showtime, eh?
Partner.
Episode 67 up and running. Okay, guys, let's get to the lineup. Okay, the lineup is simple. We've got a guest in the house. Okay, the URC winning coach, Coach Franco Smith in the building. Coach Franco Smith in the building. What a CV, what a human when it comes to the coaching department on and off the field as well. He's done so much for the game. He's done so much for rugby. He's coached international when it comes to Italy, the Springboks, the Cheetahs, etc. He's going to be in the house as well. And then also, we got to cover the URC segment. So you say lekker.
Okay. I'm a Stormers fan because I stay in Cape Town. That's why I'm saying lekker.
It's a lekker, yeah. So guys, sit back, relax, get your popcorn, and it's showtime at the end of the day. Partner?
Ready?
Yes, let's get cracking.
Ruckers, I quickly want to make a special mention to our sponsors. We are proudly supported by SuperSportBet, as you guys know, and also Ticket Pro. For all your ticket needs, go to their platform. Click on all of our social platforms. You'll find them and access to their platform. All your ticket needs, Ticket Pro is the go-to-go. Here we go. I'm ready. I'm excited. Let's talk some rugby, partner.
Let's get there. Guys, up next, Coach Franco Smith.
Woohoo! Ruckers, today we are very privileged, okay? We have one of South Africa's finest rugby minds in the studio. Not just that, he is also the current URC champion coach. Coach Franco, like your intro? Do you like it?
Oh, very nice. Thank you very much. I almost looked in the room to see if there's not somebody else.
It sounds nice, URC championship coach. How's it been, coachy? How's the actually after the season, the celebrations, the holiday? How's it been?
No, it's really been fantastic. You know, when I sold the dream in the beginning of my time there, I told them that, you know, you must feel like you're tasting whiskey. Maybe you've been on the other side of that as well, Paige, but you must think how you're going to taste, how the whiskey's going to taste, and you're going to smoke a cigar, a feeling of satisfaction. And that's the only time it will allow us to feel satisfied. And there's being the Scottish team, there was enough whiskey to celebrate.
Whiskey
with them.
cigars, that's how they roll, huh?
In Scotland, is that the thing?
Yeah, well, I think it's, yes, in Scotland as well. But I think most people that achieve somewhere or in something like to celebrate it that way. So I think that's the ultimate from my perspective.
Okay. And coach, is it fine for me to assume that Franco Smith is doing well? Or what? Is my assumptions wrong here?
Yeah, there's joy and happiness. I've definitely am enjoying it, and that is most important. I'm not always happy, but that goes away, you know, and that changes, and that's like with anybody in life. Everybody that's got to work out there. You know, you sometimes are not happy, but as long as you enjoy it, you're making a difference and you're making a change in people's lives, and that's what I'm doing. So. Loving it.
That's the coaching world. Hey, coach, I'm also new in the coaching environment, and the stress that the players can give you sometimes. Happiness and joy.
It's more grey hair and less sleepless nights. Not for me, Paiki, okay. Coaching, URC last year.
Yeah.
Top of the log for most of the season. Then before the playoffs, coach had a few games that coach let slip. Not coach, the team let slip. And then 3 playoffs away from home. How did you guys pull that off? First of all.
Actually, quarterfinals was at home and then semi-final, final one.
Beat the Stormers.
Yeah, the Stormers, then, the quarterfinal.
Yeah, makkelijk enetjie. Whatever. And then Munster away, and then coming to Loftus at altitude. The big hype around all of that. And obviously, from my point of view, we watched the games. Glasgow's ability, the last 20 minutes, to come to altitude and pick up the tempo. How did you achieve that, coaching?
Yeah, look, Paige, you've been in my trainings. You know that it's not always easy, you know. So, no, we, first of all, I think the couple of games that we lost, every team during the season will have games that they're going to lose. And I think we've learned a lot from the Bulls game that we've lost in the last two. The 2 last games that we lost in the last stretch was against the Bulls away and Lions away. So Bulls for us away we also came back in the second half in the heat. It was a really warm day, 35 degrees. We came back, scored a bonus point in the last minutes, and ended up walking away with 2 bonus points, scoring enough tries and ending up within 7. But the fact that we scored a lot of points and outscored the Bulls in the second half gave me some ammo to use going forward, for one. We realized, you know, that if you stick to process and you do that well and you work hard, then that will make a difference. And then obviously there's the Lions game, 2 or 3 things that happened against the run of play allowed them to score, which was good for us because it grounded everybody at the club. You know, we were flying high, and sometimes complacency doesn't have a smell, doesn't have footsteps, but it's always present. You know, so to get rid of that was good. And so that all actually, you know, formed part of, you know, motivating the players for the important part of the season. A lot of hard work during the season could have gone lost if that didn't happen. To lose the quarterfinal like we did the year before, because we didn't learn that lessons earlier, might have happened again. So this time around, it just, you know, helped with the determination.
And when you come to that playoffs as well, you played the Stormers that also played in the final the previous year, Munster as well, especially that Munster game. You 2 yellow cards and you guys were under the pump for most of that game. But to pull it through in that game, what was the mindset like, and what was the mentality when it comes to like pressure situations and big games like that?
Yeah, so first of all, obviously we plan. You know, if you have a plan for cards and you have a plan what plays you're going to do off it, how you're going to defend who's going to cover what, especially because we're mainly a 6-2 split bench, you know, to make sure that everybody understands that there is a strategy. You know, you don't need to give away points when you're on a man down. Although on the weekend we got it right again. But yeah, definitely we work on that mentality was the one thing. This other thing is you know, you must get out of your boat if you want a miracle. You know, if you want to, if Jesus walked on water, if you want to be able to walk on water, you must get out of your boat. If you keep sitting in the boat, you'll never walk on water. So, you know, I did challenge them to, you know, to get out of the boat and go out there and, you know, push the limits a little bit. This is the experience that they're going to need going forward. A lot of test players there. If they want to win more important games, these are the type of games that they need to perform in.
And Coachy, I'm asking myself, and I think I had this discussion with my wife at the time when you coached with them with going to the playoff. My question to my wife was, partner, I wonder how Coach Franks is getting the way that he sees the game and the passion and I don't know how to explain it, Ruckers, but I understand how coaches teams to play with a lot of grit, fitness levels up there. How did coach that comes from Bloemfontein, South African accent, how did you transfer that emotional capacity to a Scottish team? Because that was always for me the thing. How did you do that? That was the most impressive part to me, coach. To see that Glasgow looked like a team that's coached by Franco Smith.
It's sometimes difficult to adapt as well, especially for us that when you play in South Africa, you go to us and overseas, you got to adapt to their culture, their way of play, and you're so used to your culture, and then you have to implement it onto them. It's sometimes tough.
Yeah, look, I went to Glasgow without any support. I didn't take the support staff. I just took the whole group as it was. Fortunately, JP De Pre, who I coached before, and Sintima Jay-Z, they were in the building, but they told them all the bad stories. So they were so afraid of, and that is not true. There was, you know, that the Cheetahs, we had one or two things around the age of the Cheetahs at a certain stage need to be treated differently. So it's a completely different comprehension of what I'm actually about. So it took me a couple of months to win their hearts. I think again, couldn't do it by myself, and I know this is a light-hearted thing. I'm not going to be, but I absolutely, the Holy Spirit just paved the way for me, because the players by myself I would never be able to do it. But I stuck to script. I believe in what needs to be done, and when people start achieving above their ability or where they think they can achieve what they think they can achieve, and they see the results and they understand and they can enjoy it, and I liberated them. The DNA of Glasgow Warriors is be brave. So we played. I liberated them. I said to them, you must feel like the player you were when you started playing the game. That excitement, that eagerness, and I will allow you to be that through the system. And then we got some results, good results, and it just the snowball grow. We won 10 games in a row, and then it was as much as they hated the change, they embraced it towards the end. And that was I think therefore the compliment sits with the players that adapted to what I wanted.
Coach had good results. It's great results.
It's great results. Coach is being very humble, Ruckers. Okay, he's being very humble. We will say it for him. Great results. Did Coach have a whiskey after the game? That is one after the final. I know Coach is not into that, but did you have one and said a job well done after in Loftus?
Paige, yes.
Thank you.
Let's call us.
Yes.
No, I couldn't. I bow under pressure. I bowed under pressure for the first time I think. But no, it was good. My family was here. My wife, they all sacrificed quite a bit with us living a little bit apart now to allow my daughter to finish school in South Africa. She was living down in Bloemfontein, and I was up there. And then to have spent that week together there, and so I did allow myself a week taste of whiskey.
And the celebrations as well, because usually when you win that thing away from home, it's quite a different environment when it comes to after the game. Stadium is empty quickly, but when you went back home, how did you accept the celebrations there and the people there, winning this, achieving this massive achievement?
Yeah, well, look, the party was very good. We were just extremely tired. Obviously, the night didn't stop. The first one in Pretoria, and then we took any flight to come in. We didn't really. There was no business class, and so everybody just jumped in a plane. And so the coming in was one thing to be motivated. Yeah, there was some of the senior players did fly business class in. And some of them out, but because they had the Scottish engagement the week after, so they had to come back to get into camp. So, but most of us flew at the back of the back of the plane. So tired. I flew up, and on during this Sunday we went in 2 groups. Everybody was there by Monday night. Tuesday evening it was a big function at the stadium. All the supporters came in, and it was a good time to see all of them. And then I flew back the Wednesday to South Africa. So that was URC done for me. Yes.
So no statue in Glasgow of Franco Smith. Nothing.
It's coming, man. It's coming.
No, Paige, the next challenge is always around the corner. Yeah.
And that's actually my next question. What I want to ask Coach, how do you go from coach, especially as a coach, from there, the emotional high, we've ticked all the boxes, we just won a URC, and then having come back to zero. How do you do that? How does Coach Franco do that? Coming from that high, back to zero, there's a next challenge.
I saw interviews with Ryan Wilson,
yes?
Straight after the game, and Coach already speaks about next year we have to do this to win the cup again. Sometimes it's tough to switch off and just enjoy and embrace the moment.
Yeah, I think you guys are touching on a important subject for me. Is to embrace more the day-to-day enjoyments of life. I worked out, I've been involved in more or less 1,000, a little bit more than 1,000 professional games in my life. So 1,000 days that you're waiting for something to happen means that, that's 3 years of waiting for a rugby game. And you don't always enjoy that day. You tend to just look what needs to happen or what's going to happen if we get it wrong or what all the pressures that come with it, and I think I wasted a little bit of time from that perspective. So yes, I'm trying to find the joy in the day-to-days now and make sure that what I do is actually fulfilling, and it is. It's a privilege to work with those men. It's a privilege to work with all different cultures. We've got. I've worked with everybody from Tongans to Maoris and a bunch of Australian boys and Scottish people. So it's fantastic, if I see it from that perspective. But we need to stay ahead of the game. It changes quickly. I knew as the final whistle blew that everybody for 2024-25 is going to make a step up, because for one, it was a Northern Hemisphere side beating a Southern Hemisphere side away from home. Yes. So they now know something like that is possible. And I knew everybody was going to lift their standard again. And that's what the South Africans did with by participating in this competition. They just lift the standards continuously. So, yeah. But to go from zero back up there is to realize you're at zero. Okay. I think if you keep on thinking you just got to start at the top and everything will stay the same, you got to go again, So do the same thing in a different way. My first year after the European Cup final, in the change room, in my rage is not the right word, but in my last speech there to the guys, I said, boys, next year I'm going to do the same thing different. I'm going to start by changing my flat, and I didn't realize so that I can drive a different route to the field every day and just change everything up. And then I didn't realize what I said because I had to go and move and find another place. And Glasgow was terrible.
And Dubai, what Coach is saying now, it might be weird, but I know when Coach me, he had the thing where he said people do the same thing every day, if I still remember that correctly. It's human nature. So there's method to Coach's madness, saying that after they lost the final. Okay, man.
And Coach, as well, you said about so much foreigners and different cultures within the team. Is it also nice to have a couple of South Africans there, like Carl Steyn? Does it make it easy? Also, you, Jones, as well, we'll take him as a South African. Is it nice to have a couple of South Africans there talking Afrikaans and maybe having a braai or so?
Yeah, the braai thing, weather doesn't permit that there. So that's the culture, that's challenging from that perspective. It's really wet in Scotland. So you have to go and visit somebody inside his house. You don't really see him and there's very few barbecues. But then yes, you have Kyle and you've got Henko Venter now there, and you have we had JP and Nathan Macbeth and this guy called Patrick Schickling now. They all speak a bit of Afrikaans, so no, it's good and to have them there. It's nice to sometimes just utter a few Afrikaans words, and but I mean it's just I'm working with such a bunch of good players, the good people. So my philosophy: good people makes good players, and they are everybody that I work with. And if it's now Tongan, Sione Tuipuloto and Sam Talakai, and I've got Sione Valano. They are class people. I seem to have settled in well with us, and that was brilliant to have him part of the setup. We had, and then a lot of Irish. My goal coaching group is from Ireland, basically the S&C guys, and there's a couple of English boys amongst them. So broad culture, but it's good to share rugby as a common vehicle. So. It's amazing what the sport does. It just wipes out everything that can, everything that puts you in a box.
I like that. Rugby gives you so much. Even just Coachy sitting with you here today again, and after I think 4 years seeing you and having this discussion, that's the brilliant thing about our game. And Coachy, how did you become a coach? Playing fly off and then why coaching first? Let me ask that question better. Why coaching? Why did you take it up?
Yeah, that's a good question. First of all, my dad was a school teacher and he coached, and I just grew up amongst him being out in the field. So I think maybe some of it came from him, definitely. I always was the fly-off, and back in the day it wasn't structured. You have to organize everybody around you. So double hit of change direction, you had to go through the whole process and organize everybody. So I like that. I liked it when you teach somebody something and they actually get it right and it works out well. So that was something that encouraged me. So much so that in 1999 I started as a player. We started a Tri-Line Rugby Academy, we called it back in the day, and it was just about coaching coaches. It was by the players for the players, basically was the theme. And we just started doing all these little clinics around Pretoria. I was still with the Bulls in the off season, just doing various drills, just showing them how it should be done with a little more intensity and density. And then I thought I liked it, but I think Eugene van Wyk reminded me back then, you must first play and then coach. Don't try and share. Don't try and share the two things, which was a fair comment at that stage.
Just play
and then I started coaching in Treviso as player assistant coach, and then that just became player coach. And then in the end I came back to South Africa. I still had another season with Benetton as a player, and Rassie called me and said, listen, Cheetahs are in the Super Rugby next year, don't you want to be the assistant coach? And well, that came so naturally. I called back to Benetton, asked them a favour if they would release me for my last year, and I was straight into the 2005 Currie Cup, and then from that on it stuck.
Yes, so and if you look at the coaching as well, and Coach said about playing and coaching, the playing days, things look different when it comes to rugby. Today's game, it's all technical and plans, etc., etc. How does Coach see it now in terms of structure and maybe just loose play? And also, Coach said Glasgow is a 6-2 split type of team. How does the 5-3 and the 6-2 and even these days the 7-1s come into play in terms of the planning?
Yeah, look, so I actually think it's important to have a well-organized group. They must all understand their strengths, they understand their ability and also their weaknesses. You mustn't coach something that somebody extraordinary gets right. I mean, currently in South Africa, the Springboks are setting the tone. So you can't, if you don't have Cheslin, you can't make somebody else Cheslin, something like that. So you have to understand that part. I also always coach teams that had to perform above their ability. So I learned a lot of not ability, above the expectancy. So I always had to work and find ways to to make it enjoyable, but organize it and maybe hide a little bit of the lack of experience or lack of quality. Then, if in my days in Italy, when I coached Benetton in that 7 years, I had to learn how to make guys competitive, and so therefore for me, I try and put a structure in place and then immediately liberate them in that structure. As long as we know that we can play both sides of the breakdown, this is more or less the shape, and this is what we want from that shape, and that individual detail is installed. They must use that weapon to their own, to their own like. So it's space identification, and those things obviously is the progression of it. But I try and build this, or usually build a setup where they can just express themselves in, and they can make a decision. I don't coach the rugby player or the ball carrier. I coach everybody around them.
Sure.
I use coach's line a lot in when I coach with him. Don't make the right decision, just make a decision. And the boys vang hom.
Yeah.
Boys vang hom, okay? and if Coach Franco sits there, 1,000 games. With all of that coaching knowledge you have now, would you change anything if you were a player in your playing days? Maybe do something different as a player, playing flyer for the Boks, playing flyer for the Bulls, knowing now what you know now, and you could, hypothetically, you could change anything in your career. What would that be, Coachy?
I think I would have liked to be a little bit more mental resilient. I think when I was in our time, that was the last thing anybody spoke about is, how to get you up for a game, how to maintain that mentality, how to not let the disappointment affect the outcome of the game, to stay in the moment and think about the next action, this action and the next action, and forget what's happened. And you can change everything around. And how to stay fit during the week. I think we got complacent easy. And it wasn't nobody's fault. It's not the people that coaches us fault. It's just normal, natural, and that's why I'm so aware of complacency. So yes, if I was mentally, I don't want to say tougher because there was enough mental toughness, but I think where the players are now and where the challenges are now and the physical ability of the opposition are now, you need a special mental toughness. And I think if I knew that back in the day, I think we had that. I think we've had a lot of players, if you talk about Andre Venter and you speak about, Brendan for that matter, you can go, US was an incredible mental tough person. Most of the guys most of the players that played with me back in the day had that. It was just never really, coached and developed. And I thought that is maybe the one thing that I've noticed lately. But then again, the physical development that helps you to be mental tough. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, the shoulder pressure is crucial.
And if Coach, this is a random question, Rakas, I apologize. I thought of it while Coach is answering his question. If you could bring one player back from your generation that you would select in your team right now, who would that be? You could bring one player back from your coach's generation, from the Alma, Brendan or...
Yeah. No,
that's a tricky one.
Yeah, I've played with so many players, and yes, I think US was special. I would love to have him. Yeah. He was unpredictable. He was quick. He was a great thinker of the ball. He was brave. He took chances. He went off script most of the times. He had a lot of flaws. He wasn't always the best passer, and sometimes just kicked on instinct and did things completely out of the ordinary. But his resilience and his mental toughness was, again, that's something that I've noticed lately. What is the difference between good and bad player? It's just who can perform consistently. You don't need a 10 out of 10. You don't need never a 6 or a 4 out of 10, but somebody that can be a 7 out of 10 most of the time. Yeah. And I think that was, with one good action, it changed the game. So yeah, I did somebody that I would like in my environment often.
Bring it back, yeah. And how does Coach see it now as well? Because obviously, Coach is a head coach now, and Coach has been an assistant coach with attack and all these type of things. When you're a coach, do you away from the game a little bit? How does Coach see about giving that experience and also helping with the attack, even though there's a coach and those type of things? It's quite tricky that.
Yeah, it's challenging, So people management is important, Yeah. So I've got a skeleton crew, as I call it. So I coached. Let me put it this way: I was fortunate. I've coached when I went back worked in Coach Benetton the first time as a head coach. I was the only coach. So I did the the fitness. I folded the towels in the change room. I coached the forwards, the backs. I did the attack. I did defense. I asked Marius Goos in the end. He was still playing to look after the backs. Cornel van Zyl, who I took over in 2007 to Benetton, he did the line-out options for me.
Yeah.
But the rest I did myself, which is good now because one, I can work with assistant coaches. I can assist them. Yes, I want to do it my way and in a certain way, but you know, I also try to learn. So their input is massive. So it's once we've agreed on what we want from it, they've got liberty to add that value. So yes, we discuss it. We discuss what we want to do during the week. I do it a lot on individual basis. You know, people are a lot more themselves when they individually, you know, heard or they get time to share their bigger picture. I work with 2 coaches that's also been head coaches, so they understand also the pressure that I'm under. So our relation from that perspective is very good. So yeah, I've got 2 consultants also. That one is a Scrum consultant, and I've got an academy manager that's in there and not really coaching, but he gets all the he keeps the golden thread, as I call it. You know, with all these plays and things that you adapt every week, you sometimes go away from the golden thread. So his job is just to look at the golden thread and remind me, you know, where we were, and then we'll go back to that and coach from that back again. So not instead of adapting on things that was adapted, we rather go back to the golden thread and then adapt it again, and the golden thread and adapt. And so it's just as the people around you that you work with, if they understand the way you work, and I go through a lot of trouble to explain it to them to make sure that they're happy and that they feel that it's their team and not mine.
Yeah.
Then you get the buy-in, and it's easy to to sell change, because men don't like change. So. Yeah, so to not even change direction is always is easy.
The piece of belonging.
Sometimes I ask him, why do you want to coach? And like, I'm so confused. And I always think to myself, for me, the coaching part is the emotional side that I don't think I would struggle with. But how do you handle the emotion when you drop a player, when a player goes through personal, let's say, tough times? Because in my point of view, I might be wrong, everything kind of stops at your door because you're looking after 40 people's best interest. Is it tough? And sometimes, how do you do it?
I'm not going to give away all the secrets. But the main thing for me is that rugby is individual sport played collectively. So my environment currently is 110 people that every morning waits to hear what's going to happen next. And if you don't have a relation with everyone, then they will not understand what's really on your heart, you know. And I think to establish that relationships is important. Sometimes, and I think there's a lot of coaches out there will say sometimes you just have a gut feel. And the player must accept that, you know. In the end, if the shots are fired, you first in the fire line. So the thing is, if there's always a proper reason, and if there's not, there's a good explanation. And then the players must also know what they sign up for. Disappointment, injuries, referees, they're all part of the game. Travel, they're all part of the game, and you must handle and adapt to that. So I think it's the way you get the message across that's important, to motivate the player that's been dropped or been left out, rather than it is to be severe about it. And just the idea is just to get them to be positive, go and work it and get better. So I do feel that rugby can still move a lot of boundaries. The better athletes we'll have, the more this game technically will develop. So if you set early because you're fitter, both sides of the ball, you make better decisions with the ball or without. You go forward in defense, or you can use your feet in front of the contact, your skill ability in front of the contact, your support lines, your reaction to the ball carrier. All of those things change if you set earlier. That means if you're a little bit fitter, the game changes. Now, how fit can you be? And if I look what individual sports do to be fit, if you look at marathon athletes And I've noticed that most rugby players, once they stop, they become Iron Man and they do epic and they go everywhere. So all of those things means that, that they also feel they can still push their bodies physically. So I think still further. So I do think that rugby still, will still keep on growing, and they will still be fitter, faster people. They will. Jesse is. I'm going to use him as another example, but for height, size, he doesn't belong in that environment, and he's not. He doesn't just belong there. He actually is a game changer. So that just shows if bigger people with the same heart and work ethic get even better athletes, we're going to still see this game develop a lot more.
Yeah, this game has developed a lot, yeah. But if we look at now in the future, Coachy, Glasgow at the moment, this season so far, how's it been? Coach is looking pretty at the lock now, sitting at 4th. Last weekend was quite a toughie, but also good result, getting a bonus points away from home. And looking at the Stormers playing this weekend, how's the prep going? How's the season been going?
Yeah, look, very happy. We've used 35 of the 43 pros at the moment in the 5 games, which means that everybody's had some game time. And there's enough changeover. I used the first game. I didn't the warm-up games because we finished so late and because most of the players went on the international tour. I used the first game as a warm-up game, basically. So 14 players against Ulster played the first time this year. Then I swapped 7 into the next, 8 into the third game round, and 7 into the fourth, and we made 8 changes for the Sharks. And there will be a couple of changes again this week. Because I know that after this window, this international window, with these 4, Scotland's got 4 games plus A games. All my players are going to be involved with that, and then we have 4 European Cup games and 2 derbies, which is usually murder over Christmas and January there. So big, and then that leads straight into the Six Nations. So important that we share the load, we get everybody on par, we play well, we good understanding of the process, all fit enough, but also well prepared to perform for Scotland in the next weeks. So a lot of ingredients went into team selection and where we are. So I'm happy with where we sit on the log. That was not our main objective, but would have loved to have won on the weekend. I think the full Bok outfit that we faced would have really nice for the Scottish boys' motivation and also their belief if we could get it across. But I think we've done enough. Yeah, it's the same as what we did against the Bulls when we lost last year. It will give us enough firepower to go forward, and then obviously we're going to take some of the momentum into this week. The boys have trained well, and they're recovering well from the weekend, so hopefully there's a bit of continuity into this game.
And last weekend when Coach saw that Springbok team, was there like panic stages, or was it like changes of plans, or was it just like a normal, okay guys, stick to the plan?
I like that.
You want to coach in the big environment, so that doesn't, fortunately the test match international experience that I've already had, prep one for those kind of things. It's all about what you can do, not what the opposition is going to do. If you can concentrate and keep the boys focused on acting on their beliefs instead of, hoping something would happen. Stop staring at the scoreboard, because they only stare at the scoreboard for 2 reasons. One is to see how much time's left, and 2 is to see if they're winning, and if they're not, in some place that influence what you must do. You go in a panic station, you go off script, you get unwanted action. So there's always method in the madness, and hopefully through that experience, which this is going to be a very important experience for the team that I have going into important finals and important games and test matches. Most of these boys will play South Africa in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, just so
crazy. And for a Scotland team touring South Africa, what is your players? How have they found coming to South Africa? Is there any boys who said, is the animals walking, or is the crime fine? So how have they found touring South Africa, Coach?
Look, there was, when we last year up at North, it was a little bit different. Let me put it this way: 2 years ago, they came down here. I couldn't get a visa to come to South Africa. Well, I could come to South Africa, but I didn't have a visa to go back, so I couldn't travel down. And they came down, and then there was this equally epidemic that hit both Ulster and Glasgow in Durban, and both those matches got cancelled in the end. So they were really afraid of that this time around. Then when we went back to last year, we stayed in Monte Casino, which is reasonably safe. We have a security outfit. I tried to convince them it's not that necessary, but we looked after well by Rory Stein's company, so it's good. The guys. But this trip, Cape Town and Durban, from this perspective, we came into Stellenbosch already last week, trained here, just flew up for the game and came back, and the excitement of being in Stellenbosch and in the Cape is massive. That it is a privilege. They've realised it, and we've said it in our leadership group as well, is it is a privilege to tour this country. It's a privilege to play against the best rugby players in the world, and at the same time see this the surroundings and so enjoy a little bit from what we do. And it comes back to what you asked me before, is just to enjoy the day-to-days more, instead of just appreciate thinking about appreciate is maybe the better word for it. Appreciate it more and enjoy what you got, and not and when it's game day, then you switch on.
Yeah, and for coaches as well, looking at a lot of players would say, okay, we're focusing on tomorrow and what's in front of us. Don't look too far ahead. What is coaches' future plans in terms of where coach you want to go, especially with this team, especially with higher honours? Coach has obviously tasted a bit of higher honours when it comes to the Springboks and those type of things. What is the goals in 5 years' time, 10 years' time?
I would like to leave that of make the players the best version of themselves. That's the main objective. They must become the best they could be. And I'm challenging them from that perspective. I challenge myself. I need to find ways to push the limits. I've sometimes said, if you do this, that's not going to be good enough to beat that team or the others, and then the players can lose, belief in the plan if they feel they're already giving everything. But to find ways to get these guys to improve and keep on being the best version of themselves, that's basically the main objective for me. I'm still in Glasgow until I'm 26, so. But I don't want to plan too far ahead. Take it one day at a time. At the moment, if you look too far up the hill, you stumble off the block. And I believe in God's grace. So up to now, I've never applied for the job of my life. It always came to me. So I would, another saying of myself is, if you want to know how it's going to go with you, you must just look back, and it's always been, I've been blessed and looked after. So I'm excited to see what will be the next challenge.
Because before we almost say goodbye to you, what is it like for you as a father to have rugby boys, and is Coach Franco a father at home or coach at home to the two boys? How do you handle that? Because I want to hear this. How do you do that at home? Is it tough, Coach Frank's phoning him and saying X, Y, Z, we need to improve, or is it a loving father, caring, asking him how he perceived the game?
First of all, I don't think I'll ever coach my sons. I will coach everybody else's sons, but never my own. So now I would like to avoid that unnecessary pressure, just for the reason that I want them to become the best they can be. And if I've learned I can't always coach somebody else's teams. You gotta be invested day to day, and I don't see my kids every day, and so I can give them more. Some mental guidance rather than technical guidance. Obviously, when they were young and they were growing up, we tried to install all the basic skill sets that they were going to need, and they've got it. They've got all that. I've got no doubt. But the application of that is up to what the team and their coaches want from them. So I'm just confusing them with too much information. So I've learned, that you need 3 or 4 simple things to progress every week. For me to also come in and confuse that, so no, I'll allow them to play. We obviously, talk about it, and there is some feedback, but they can do with it what they want.
Powerful,
like
huh? Powerful. Coachy, thank you very much for making the time. It's awesome for us to spend time with you. I mean, I'm a startup coach now, starting things in the coaching, and I've learned so much in this past couple of minutes now. But thank you very much for what you've done for the game, for South Africa, but even for rugby in general as well. And all the best for the next couple of weeks, and especially at the DHL Stadium. And I hope it all goes well.
Ruckus, I honestly wish we had 2 more hours, because I wanted to ask him what part of his philosophy has changed. And I've got so many questions that I wanted to ask Coach Franks. But Coach, just from my side, just seeing you again, I mean, means the world to see that you're exactly the same. Nothing has changed, which is really good. And I wish you nothing but success in the future. And I'm living my life with the principles that you taught me in Bloom about good people. Good things happen to good people, and good people make good rugby players. And I'm applying that with my children. And I want to thank you for that.
Yeah.
Honestly, Coach, it means a lot.
Appreciate
and it's
it.
lekker to see you.
No, thank you very much. And I really appreciate it. And you guys are doing a great job shining a light on a different side of rugby, and that we are behind the scenes still human, human after all. And if you can keep on bringing that part to the people, I think they can understand us all a little bit better. So thanks for doing that from everybody's watching side, and thanks for having me today, and good luck and God bless.
Thank you, appreciate that. Guys, Coach Franco.
Who's smart? Woo! Come on, Glasgow. Partner, rugby is a special game, Ruckus, and rugby brings people together. And we were lucky to have the conversation with him, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as me and you.
100%.
And
learned so much, because I have learned a lot.
I was just about to say, it looked to me like you were taking in more than I was.
Like, is groot en 'n mond oop. There was a lot to take in, especially when it comes to the vast experience that you've seen a lot of things. He's been over the world, Italy, Benetton, Cheetahs, up and down, even his playing days as well, to a lot of provinces as well. But super special for Coach Franco to make time for us and to share this experience.
And I like the part that he shared about Joos van der Westhuizen, the late Joos van der Westhuizen now, and how Joos would have played in today's era. I like that when we can take someone from the past, put it into the present, hypothetically, but
and the challenges he's facing as well. I mean, winning the URC, the matter of how he did it. Not something you like, but the matter at Loftusversfeld, at a place where he actually loved, grew up, and played there. It's super special. This shows the type of quality of coach he is.
Yeah.
And if he can come back,
Yeah.
Okay.
Put on your seatbelt. You see, Ruckus, he gets out of control sometimes. But did you hear him? 1,000 games he's coached. How many are you now, Paddy?
I'm a starter pack, okay?
Firelight. I like it. But Ruckus, simply sublime. Okay, guys, again, I want to remind us, smash the subscribe.
Smash, not press.
Smash the subscribe button below for all your rugby needs. This is the #1 rugby podcast.
And share it like a gossip story, man.
Please, come on, guys. I see people in the comment section asking why the views is not at 100,000 yet, because everybody needs to do their part, okay?
They must look
but
in
I
the
love
mirror.
your comments. Keep sharing, keep commenting.
Yes.
Guys, this is our show.
Our show.
Okay. And what's up next?
It's that hour. Okay.
That hour. What hour is it?
It's URC segment time.
Let's go. The balloons.
You want to get there?
Let's go.
Okay, let's get to the fixtures quickly. Games coming up for this weekend is Benetton versus Bulls, and that's Friday night. You guys like Friday night now these days, eh? And then Stormers versus Glasgow on Saturday. Sharks versus Munster, biggie. And Leinster versus Lions, also a biggie.
All four
of us.
massive games.
And if you look at that last game, it's the top of the table clash. Can you believe it? Lions is sitting at second and Leinster at the top. So, and Lions doing well.
Lions are doing awesome. They are
Top
off to a
8, please.
flyer start.
Yeah, top 8, come on.
Ruckus, and I don't want you to think that this is negative, but this is the first weekend I'm looking at the fixtures and I'm like, I don't want to miss any of these games.
Yes, agree.
I don't want to miss Benetton versus the Bulls, because the Benetton was excellent this past weekend.
Yes.
Bulls, we got our first
Knocky, but it's
bloedneus.
Yes, it happens. It's life.
Then we Stormers Glasgow.
And Coach said he's coming in hot.
Coach is cooking up something in Stellenbosch
plans
for the Stormers. But the Stormers are back to winning ways at home. The faithful was out in their numbers.
Yes.
They were excellent against Munster.
And then the Springboks versus Munster.
Then the Springboks against Munster down in the Durban box.
Yes.
Yes. Don't sleep this weekend. We got rugby everywhere.
Yes. Quickly go to your boys. Let
Why
me
you
sit
smiling?
back.
Why you
I'm
smiling?
sitting back.
Why you
I'm
smiling?
all ears. What happened this weekend? I mean, it's been a tough one. There's still a couple of good things when it comes to guys that's performing, especially like Kane Moody is every weekend.
He looks hungry
out.
again?
He looks hungry again.
Not again. That's the wrong word to use. He looks hungry.
And both tries, the one he scored is actually, if you look at the work rate coming from the blind side and creating opportunities for actually himself that scored. And the second time when they scored as well, he created a lot of those things. And it's just good to see him coming out again and just showing what he can do after a long injury layoff.
Yeah, I think that is probably the nice thing for a young guy. He's extremely young, because we must never forget it. He's still developing, but damn it, he's a fantastic product for such a young guy. Concerning Bulls cards, massive
I
concern.
thought you were going to say fly off. So cards.
Also
Also so
concern.
two now.
There's two concerns. You
Okay.
know, I've been nagging you about we need a fly-off. And the other concern for me is our cards. The number of cards we're getting, it's hurting us, and it hurt us this past weekend.
Another harsh one. What Grobies? Well,
look, I'm not going to get into because
I don't want you to get into referee stuff now.
Yeah, we vouched on that. We will never get into referee stuff, criticizing refs and getting involved in that whole debacle and debating. But maybe it's the right loss at the right time. Maybe it's the medicine that we needed to make sure that we don't do the same things. It's like in the golf, when you're in the rough, but you want to see a gap and you want to go through it. Sometimes it's just important to take your medicine, putt it out to the fairway, and you can attack the green again. So for the Bulls, tough loss. Another tough game against Benetton, who wants to.
Benetton
is going to have all the
Jacob
Italian players
Umaga
back
as well.
They're going to have a full strength side. So look. That's what touring is about. Nothing should be easy when you're on tour. And we've got another tough game coming up this weekend. And but I'll be blue. Yeah. I'll be the light blue. I'll be supporting the light blue.
Yes.
Come on, Buller.
Come on, Buller. We won a 4 out of 4. And then when you look at the Stormers as well, this past weekend, they're looking, they're slowly finding their straps. They're still missing the gel. But even at fly-off as well, Damien Willemse was absolutely fantastic. I mean, he's showing his straps again. There's a couple other boys that's also finding form. Leolan Zas is finding himself, creating opportunities. I mean, the center combination when it comes to Ruan and Dan is also slowly but surely building. But I think we're lacking up front a little bit in terms of experience, guys. It'd be nice to see Steven Kitsoff. I know a lot's going on when it comes to the news about him. Frana being back, you need connected maybe with Joseph being physical in the scrums and stuff like that. And yeah, so and like even Roos that still needs to come back. So experience lacking up front a little bit. But I mean, the backs is kind of finding them straps. And when Mani gets opportunity, and hopefully Mani is back, it's good to see Herschel Yankees back as well.
And he played well.
And he played well, yeah.
He had a really good shift when he came onto the field.
It's game 4-5 now, so the combinations will start working. So we're waiting for that combination to start working.
Look, a really good win for the Stormers against the team who's had their number in the recent years.
Yes.
So I want to give them, first of all, credit after
3
a tough
games
tour.
that they lost, yeah.
Yes, after a tough tour, coming home, the faithful, that was the impressive part for me. People in Cape Town love Stormers rugby. And you can see it in the numbers, the amount of numbers that goes to Stormers games. That for me is brilliant.
Yeah.
I really love it, and I like to see that. Damien Willemse is a sublime rugby player. Sublime rugby player. Coach Rassi probably watched that game after Fassi was man of the match the previous game. Then he was Gaza man of the match the Stormers game, and he was scratching his head. He got 5 to 6 to 10 more grey hairs
options
out of his head.
And then
Rassi.
Valileru also a couple of weeks ago man of the match. So there's 3 incredible options when it comes to coming from the back.
Yeah, and for us as South Africans, having Gaza back, having Fassi on absolutely outstanding form, and he's a rucker, as we could see last week. Okay?
Episode 66. Okay,
Go clear the ruck.
Do your thing.
Go watch Fassi's episode.
Throwback Thursday.
Gaza was excellent. I was really impressed with Herschel being injured out of the game. He looked really sharp. He looked hungry. I liked it when the way he played. I really liked it. What he get at moments, glimpses where it's
the magic,
the boogeyman where he does stuff that
that
no
low
one,
and it dips it under the
and he
tackle.
gets that offload through. So look, Stormers rugby at not at Newlands. Apologies. At the DSL Stadium is a force to be reckoned with. You guys, I know we feel like they're still not as slick,
sharp, and
slick,
putting teams away.
Yeah, as they should be.
Because even that last 10 minutes, it was close.
Yeah, but
keeping it close.
they're still really successful at home, and but this is gonna be a very entertaining game.
Yeah, this weekend is entertaining because the Springboks are back. If you look at the Sharks, all the Springboks are back. Hopefully, we'll get our Springboks back, like a Francie and Manila Bok back. Because it's pretty much the difference when it comes to with Herschel and Man and all these boys coming back. It's exciting news. And a club friend as well.
Look, the Stormers, Glasgow. That's gonna be hopefully fantastic running rugby. I know Dobbo wants to play that game, and I know Franco. That's the only way he wants to play. He score tries, be attack, be innovative. Also, this past weekend, partner, we had Siakolisi returning to South Africa.
He's back.
He was away.
He's a shark, Josh.
It's a Sharky back on the scoring a try. Being really good. Is it the Bokke playing or is it the Sharks 100%. Playing?
That's why I had to ask Coach that question. You stopped me. But it's good to see the Springboks in incredible form as well. Sia, it's like he didn't skip a beat. Straight into it, scoring tries, running over people. Even Elizabeth is doing his thing as well. Every Springbok, when it comes to the Sharks or wherever they play in South Africa, the four franchises, it's been good. And there's a reason the Springboks are good because they keep on their form.
Partner, I don't know how you feel. You can obviously give your opinion on this, but I feel the drop-off at the Sharks is too big. That is my main concern. The drop-off between the Springboks and next in line is too big. You understand?
That's why they struggle.
That's why they struggle. When the Springboks are away, they look like a different team. They look like a team who's struggling.
I see where
so
you're
that drop-off from the Springboks to the next guy up, that gap is too big. And somehow they must find a way to... You're never going to substitute a Bok with a Bok, but you should close that gap.
The gap, yeah. As a director's point of view, when you look at the squad, you go super Springbok, and then you go medium to rare, and then you go the juniors. But it looks like that medium to rare is not on its standard yet, so that gap is a bit too big. So they go super hot and then juniors. So it is a little bit of a concern. So hopefully they can pick up the points while they're up and running before they go away. And then hopefully the youngsters will, not the youngsters, but the second stringers will get the opportunity and make it count.
Yeah, look, and I don't want to be Coach Rassi. I'll never be Coach Rassi, and he's one in a million. But hypothetically, I like this one. That's a new word that I've got, Ruckus. Hypothetically, I throw it out for anything in any conversation. Hypothetically, what are we doing with the dilemma between Damian Willemse and Aprile Lafassi once it comes to that first game against Scotland?
I think we're going to stick what worked throughout this past couple of weeks. I think we have to stick with Fassi. He's in form. He's playing incredible rugby. You've grown something now. It's you can't cut the thing that you've actually built now. So and then put the Damian Willemse in off the bench, feed him in, giving opportunities here and there, 10, 20, 30 minutes, and see how we can get back to you know that comfortable of being into the green and gold. But yeah, that's going to be important to see what's going to happen there. I would like to see Willie also being in the mix, helping them because he has to leave something with him. He's got to light candles. Yes, light candles all the times. Yeah,
partner, but I would love Willie to get his 100th cap for the Springboks in South Africa next year. To have his cap.
A couple of caps away.
He's a couple of caps. I think he's 3 or 4 away from being 100 cap Springbok, and that will be excellent if we can achieve that milestone in South Africa with Springbok fans in his home country.
Yeah, we wish it upon him. Obviously, he's done a lot for the Springbok
massive.
He's a legend when it comes to South African rugby.
And hij was nog steeds fire. Hij is nog hot.
Hij kan nog move.
No, that guy is still fire.
Kikkies, eh?
It's kikkies. No, but what I'm saying is by no means that I'm meaning Willie is retiring or done. I'm just saying the milestone when he can celebrate.
The GOAT status.
Yes, but he is still lit for my bullseye. Okay.
Yay, freedom, mate.
Excellent.
Leinster Lions. Ooh. Unbeaten team Lions. You can, it's a start you can just pray for. It's a start that's absolutely fantastic. We've never seen the name Lions in the top 4. It's important to see that and away from home against a very good Ergis Snyman in the boys.
It's going to be full strength. It's going to be full strength Leinster team. Yeah. They're going to play this game before they go to the international side.
What should the Lions do? Should they go full strength as well, or should they give opportunities?
No, full strength.
And just take the loss.
See where you're at. See where you're at against one of the best sides in the current team with all of the Irish players. Play your full strength side, throw the full kitchen sink at them. Everything. You give the boys 3 days off after that game. Throw the full kitchen sink at them. See what you have, see what your team is about, and see where your shortcomings is. And if there isn't any, and surprise the whole world by beating Leinster, then you know what you actually are.
Yeah, we actually are. So that's a catch-22. We'll see what the coach is gonna do, because obviously you can give guys opportunity, knowing that it is a tough one, and then you rest those guys when it comes to back home and getting 4 and 5 points back home, and also with the Championship Cup coming up around the corner, you want to rest guys up. You don't want to go full strength every weekend because they've done well for 4 games.
You see, I'll rest players in the Challenge Cup. That will be what I would do.
Oh, the Challenge Cup, yeah.
In the Challenge Cup. So I would rest my bigger guys in the Challenge Cup, and I'll go full Ketty in the URC.
In the URC.
With top of the log.
You need top 8, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll go full Ketty, full strength team for all my URC games, and for the Challenge Cup, I'll go with half-baked oven jack potato.
Yes. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, and that's a weekend that I'm looking forward to. 4 massive games coming up, and you can just smell the Springboks around the corner. You can smell the end of year tour coming around the corner. The guys trying to perform so they can get that WhatsApp that Fassi spoke about.
Yes.
And hopefully we will get more faces. Yeah, that WhatsApp group. Hopefully Rassie will get more faces when it comes to in a couple of weeks, the end of year tour.
And Ruckus, obviously, I want you guys, we've started something on our Instagram and social media pages called Shout Out Tuesday.
Yes.
If you're watching this, please send your videos, what you love about the show, to our website and our email address. We'll put it below. Please send your video, what you love about the show, and your favorite parts about Behind the Ruck to it. And we'll make sure that we put you guys on our platforms every Tuesday with Shout Out Tuesday.
Shout out, it's a moment.
It's your moment to shine. Come on, man.
Yes. And guys, also Behind the Ruck is supported by SuperSport Bet, the one and only SuperSport Bet. So go check it out, boys. There's some lekker stuff for you. So go check it out as well. And also Ticket Pro, they're in the building. They're in the BTR building. So for all your ticket needs, go there. Go to the websites and get your tickets. And hopefully wherever you go in the events, you will see these 2 runners running around there in a fan frenzy. So get your tickets right now.
And partner, I saw last week there was a few guys saying it's their first time that they stumbled upon Behind the Ruck. They stumbled upon Behind the Ruck. So if this is your first time that you are stumbling upon Behind the Ruck, every Thursday, 6 o'clock, weekly, our episodes goes live. Okay, guys, welcome to our community. And this is the show for everyone. Everyone,
yeah.
Yes.
Ubuntu.
Ubuntu.
And that's it.
Aye.
Episode 67. 67?
67.
Okay, chicken wrap it easy. Hey guys, and that's our chicken wrap. I'm Juan de Jong.
I'm Rudy Page.
And the Ruck is clear.
See you next week.
Woohoo.